Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Thursday, November 4, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Philadelphia is averaging 111 points per game. They scored 103 points in their last game, making 49.4% of their field goals and 42.9% of their three-pointers. Seth Curry led the way for Philadelphia with 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Georgia's Niang finished with 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist, while Joel Embiid added 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists for the 76ers. Philadelphia has played well defensively, giving up 102.9 points per game. They gave up 98 points in their last game and will need to keep it up if they want to get the win. Detroit is averaging 95.1 points per game. They scored 89 points in their last game, making 32.3% of their field goals and 17% of their three-pointers. Jerami Grant led the way for Detroit with 21 points and 2 rebounds. Trey Lyles had 13 points and 7 rebounds, while Killian Hayes added 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. Detroit has played well defensively, giving up 108.6 points per game. They gave up 117 points in their last game and will need to do a better job if they want to win this game. Our first betting advice is to pick Philadelphia 76ers -6. On the year, the Pistons are dead last in the league in scoring offense, as they average just 95.1 points a game. Detroit is 28th in rebounding with an average of 41.9 boards per contest and 25th in assists by dishing out 21 dimes a night. The Pistons are 15th in the league in scoring defense, as they give up an average of 108.6 points per contest. Saddiq Bey is second on the Pistons, with 14.1 points, plus 7.9 rebounds per contest on the year. Jerami Grant adds 16.8 points plus 5 rebounds per game, while Kelly Olynyk chips in 12.4 points, plus 4.6 boards a night. Josh Jackson, Isaiah Stewart, Trey Lyles, Frank Jackson, Killian Hayes, Corey Joseph, Hamidou Diallo and Luka Garza are looked at to be contributors for coach Dwayne Casey. First overall pick Cade Cunningham made his NBA debut against Orlando October 30 after missing most of training camp and the first 4 games of the year with a sprained ankle. Detroit is 30th in the league in field goal percentage, as they shoot 39.4% from the floor as a team. The Pistons are 28th in the league in threes per game, as they hit 9.6 triples per contest, while they are last in three-point percentage, as they connect on just 26.7% of their attempts from beyond the arc. Our second betting is to pick under 208.5. Utah Jazz vs Atlanta Hawks. Last season, the Jazz set the NBA record for most three-pointers made per game in a single season at 16.8 per game. In a regular 82-game season, they were on pace for 1,378 from deep, which would have easily topped the Houston Rockets' mark of 1,323 in 2018-19. But this year has been a different story, and Utah is at 32% on their long ball so far. Expect those numbers to gradually climb as the season progresses. Atlanta is averaging just a shade under 108 points per game through the first 2 weeks, good for 17th in the NBA. With Collins and Bogdanovic returning from their ailments, expect that number to slowly creep up to their typical top 10 averages. Clint Capella has provided a solid veteran presence inside, averaging 9.9 points and 10.7 boards, to go along with his typical 1.7 blocks. He played 33 minutes against the Wizards 2 nights ago and scored 16 and 12. Those minutes will shorten once the Hawks get fully healthy. Our first betting advice is to pick Atlanta Hawks. The last thing the Hawks need is getting blown up by a short-handed Jazz team with their leading scorer possibly on the sidelines. Clint Capella must win on the boards, and Trae Young and company have to handle their business on the offensive end of the floor. It hasn't all been peachy for the Hawks, but they are averaging 117.7 points at home this season. There should clearly be some concern after watching them get lit up by the Nets. Even without Mitchell on the floor, the Jazz have some legitimate scorers on their roster. They aren't just going to roll over at the side of the Hawks. If Atlanta wants to be taken as seriously, these are the kinds of games they need to start winning. They need to start consistently beating other hopeful contenders. Our second betting advice is to pick under. Boston Celtics vs Miami Heat. Boston is fourth in the NBA in scoring with an average of 113.9 points per game, but needs more possessions to reach that, compared to many other teams, as the Celtics are shooting only 43.2% overall and 33.7% from three-point territory. Jaylen Brown is the leading scorer for Boston with an average of 26.7 points per game, and just 1 point behind is Jason Tatum with an average of 25.7 points per game. Dennis Schroeder is the dish king for Boston with an average of 6.4 assists per game. The Celtics average 24.1 assists and 14.1 turnovers per game for an assist-to-turnover ratio of 1.7. Miami is scoring an average of 115.6 points per game, which is second in the NBA, and has the fifth best shooting percentage at 47.0%. Jimmy Butler is averaging 25.3 points per game to lead Miami and is third in rebounding with an average of 7.0 boards per game. Tyler Herro is averaging 22.0 points per game, which is second for Miami. Veteran point guard Kyle Lowry is the dish leader for Miami with a team-best 7.2 assists per game. Miami averages 24.8 assists and 15.3 turnovers per game for an assist-to-turnover ratio of 1.6. Our first betting advice is to pick Miami Heat minus 7.5. In their most recent win over Dallas, Miami shot 51.8% from the floor and 52% from three-point range. Miami got balanced scoring led by Tyler Herro with 25 points, followed by Butler with 23, and Adebayo and Kyle Lowry with 22. Adebayo also grabbed 13 boards in the victory. The Celtics responded to the loss against Chicago with a 13-point win over the Magic last night. The Magic held a 46-44 edge at the half, but the Celtics won the third quarter 31-10 to turn the game around. Jaylen Brown delivered with 28 points on 10 of 17 shooting, and Al Horford scored 12 points with 12 rebounds. Jason Tatum struggled, shooting 4 of 16 from the field, but finished with 14 points and 6 boards. The Celtics dropped their third straight game on Monday, losing 128-114 at home to the Chicago Bulls. Boston was outscored 39-11 in the fourth quarter after leading by 19 points with just 2:53 left in the third quarter. According to ESPN Stats and Info, it was the first time in the shot clock era, 1954-55, that a team lost by 14-plus points after leading by 14-plus points entering the fourth quarter. After the loss, guard Marcus Smart called out the Celtics' young stars, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, for not passing the ball more. The Miami Heat are currently on a 5-game winning streak. Miami has been the most balanced team in the NBA, ranking first defensively, scoring 115.6 ppg, and first defensively, holding opponents to 98.9. Jimmy Butler's 25 points and 2.9 steals per game lead the team, and he is also grabbing 6.9 rebounds and dishing out 5.6 assists per contest. Tyler Herro is next up, averaging 22.4 ppg off the bench, and Bam Adebayo is averaging 208 ppg and grabbing 13.8 rebounds per game. Our second betting advice is to pick under.